Okay, guys, before I move on to today's lesson, I want to quickly make sure that you guys are fully aware of what the contents of this semester's portfolio should be. If you have a piece of paper and pencil, I think it will be a good idea for you to jot this down. In your portfolio for this semester, the works that you were supposed to have turned in include a reaction to movie theater is no place for texting. That was way back in August. And after that, you were supposed to turn in another essay on how can studying cinematography help me. In addition to that, you had to turn in a DSLR camera diagram. And after that, there was this project where you created a photographic composition and sent me a picture. In addition to that, you were supposed to write another essay answering um, the question if you were going to use any particular film genre, which one would you use to explore the deepest fears, biggest hopes, and things that baffle you. After that, the other work that you had to turn in was to analysis and summary for modern times and the mark of the Zorro. After that, you had another essay where you had to answer if you had to write a script, which story structure would you use and why? And the last one that you guys were supposed to turn in was a paradigm map using either the hero's journey or the Sid Field paradigm. Okay, for a movie of your choice from a list. We only have one work pending, which is going to be assigned this week, and that will be it for portfolio this semester. And I'm not going to make the announcement yet. In the next lesson, I will be telling you what that work will be, but it will sum for a total of 9 works that you should have turned in by the end of the semester. So far, you have supposed to have turned in 8. So if I were you, I would check out your files to make sure that you send me those 8 works. If anything is missing, then you need to take care of that. Remember that portfolio work is sent through email, not through LMS. The only work that is sent through LMS is the reshoot work. Okay. And we haven't had reshoot for a while, but we do have reshoot today. Today we're going to be ending our series on the essential crew. So let's talk about the last person in the series. So far, we have explored people such as the writer, who writes what is uh, supposed to become the foundation of the entire film, the screenplay. Then we spoke about the producer, who is the person that finds the resources that are necessary to make the movie a reality. And then we spoke in our last lesson about the biggest creative force in the making of a film, who happens to be the director. Today, we're going to be talking about another very important person, and that person is the director of photography. I want to remind you that when we talk about the essential crew, we're talking about those people that are supremely important in the realization of a film project, at least the part that is behind the scenes or behind the camera. We should not confuse the essential crew with what is called the skeleton crew. When you talk about a skeleton crew, you're not talking about a crew that is made up of skeletons, but actually, when we talk about skeleton, we're talking about the minimum requirements. And a skeleton crew is the number of the least amount of people that you need to be able to make a film. That is different from what I call the essential crew. Okay. Before last week, I uploaded a lesson titled The Essential Crew. And it was divided into 4 chapters or 4 lessons. Today we're going to cover lesson number or chapter number 4, the director of photography. Let's see what that person does. The director of photography, and we're going to use the initials to make it shorter, the DP, is the person who supervises the filming of movies or any other short of film production. It is common to see this term and cinematographer being used interchangeably. So when we talk about the director of photography, or we decide to use the word cinematographer, we're referring to the same person. It's the same job. Use the term that you prefer. In America, the term that is preferred is director of photography or DP. In Europe, they prefer to use the term cinematographer. But choose your pick. It makes no difference at all. It's a matter of preference. The it's the same job. You know, you can call a policeman a cop, and it doesn't make a difference. It's the same thing. Um, the DP or cinematographer work closely with the director and the production designer to give a film its visual signature. You know who the director is. I did not mention the production designer, but that's a very important person. I would not name him as essential, but it's super important. The production designer is the person that is in charge of everything you see in a movie that is used, the costumes, the furniture, if you have machines, any visual component that needs to be fabricated, the sets that are built, all of those things are designed by the production designer. And remember that these people all consult the director because at the end of the day, the person who is supposed to have the final say on what will appear in the movie is the director. Is that clear? You may hear about people being called director of this, director of that. They are the director in their particular department. But at the end of the day, they have to go back to the director because the vision that will be guiding the filmmaking process is the vision of the director. Is that clear? Okay, all right. So the director of photography has to consult with the director to fulfill the vision of the director. However, the director of photography is a great contributor to what ends up in the screen. They help give the film its visual signature. What is the purpose? What is the purpose of a signature? The purpose of a signature is to distinguish someone. That's why when your dad or mom go to the bank and they're going to cash a check, they have to sign it. If they are going to make a loan, they have to sign a bunch of papers. If they go to a lawyer to take care of some legal matter, they have to sign it because signatures are unique, or they're supposed to be unique. Everybody has their own distinctive signature. That's why they sign. And will that signature signify or mean is that that person was responsible for or agreed with this. So when we talk about a visual of the film's visual signature, uh, it is the distinctive look of the film. Some films have very distinctive looks, the same way that many painters have very distinctive looks. I mean, if you look, for example, at the works of Picasso, Pablo Picasso, famous Spanish Cubist painter, or if you look at the works of painters from the Renaissance, such as Leonardo da Vinci or Raphael or Michelangelo, they have very distinctive looks. And when you look at, or Vincent van Gogh, who is more modern, you look at their paintings and you go like, wait a minute, that looked like it was done by this person. It has their style. It had their visual signature. Well, guess what? Directors try to have a visual signature. And I think that the DP, more than any other person, will help the director have a movie with a distinctive look. So there are movies, if you are well versed in movies and the styles of different directors, you will see that very famous directors have very distinctive looks in their films. Remember that we're doing art. Okay, when you're shooting a movie, it's like you're painting. You're painting with a camera. Okay, and instead of using paint, you're using light and shadow. Don't forget these things. We have spoken about these things many times. Remember that. And here we are. We haven't spoken about this in a while, but here am I reminding you again that lighting is a fundamental element in filmmaking. Lighting is the paint that we use to make our portrait. And that is the main ingredient that the DP is going to utilize. That's they use light, the light that goes into the camera. How the light falls on an actor's face, how it reveals an interior space, how it illuminates a landscape is going to create mood, drama, and excitement for the audience. So the DP is trying to create all these particular emotions that the director wants to transmit to the viewer of the movie. Let's not forget that films are supposed to be visually pleasant to the viewer. Don't forget that the main goal, I'm sorry, of filmmaking is visual pleasure. It has to look nice, so nice that you want to keep on looking at it. The DP's role is to provide the film with a distinctive visual identity or look that the director wants. DPs in the film industry are known as the director's best friend. They're my buddy. If I'm a director, the DP is my buddy because more than anyone, they help the director's vision come to life. That's the DP. So it's a big responsibility this person is shouldering. They have to discover within the script the photographic heart of that script. They read the script, they listen to what the director has to say, what their vision is. They have to find that in the script. They have to like visualize it the way that the director wants it. And they're going to use a variety of source materials that can include still photography, paintings. I've heard directors that they wanted to make their movie look like a particular painting. For example, have you heard of Michelangelo? I'm not talking about the Ninja Turtle. I'm talking about the Renaissance painter and sculptor, Michelangelo. You have in Rome, in Vatican City, in Rome, Italy, there's a place called the Sistine Chapel. And the Sistine Chapel is covered in murals. They're very famous. Have you seen them? I'm sure you might have seen them. Maybe you don't realize you have, but you have because many of these murals are just iconic. They're famous. Like the one, maybe you've seen the one of Adam and God is shown like an old man on a cloud, and Adam is naked on the ground, and they're touching their fingers like that. Have you seen that one? That's very famous. So you know that particular aesthetics. There is a director called Tarsem. He's an Indian American director, Tarsem Singh, and he's made many famous movies. Among them, a movie called Immortals. And Immortals is reinterpretation of the Titanomachia, which is a Greek legend of the war of the gods between the Titans and the Olympic gods. And he wanted the movie to look like a painting from the Sistine Chapel. And there are some shots from the movie. You look at them, and it looks like a mural from the Sistine Chapel. It's incredible. The colors that he chose, the type of lighting that the DP, I don't know who the DP was, but the DP had to realize that vision for the director. So it was inspired by a painting. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It's not just grabbing a camera, let's shoot this. No, there's a vision. The director has a vision of what they want the movie to look like. That movie is in his head already before they shoot a single frame of movie. So the DP is not necessarily the person who is using or operating the camera. The DP works with a camera crew, and that camera crew consists of the camera operator, first and second camera assistant, camera trainee, and the grips. So you have a bunch of people that are working with cameras and also working with camera supporting equipment. Who are the people that make the rigs for the support systems? The grips. So whenever you hear the word grip, the grip is the people that set up these scaffolds for the camera. They set up the cranes. They set up anything that is necessary to support a camera. Is that clear? The dollies. Remember we were talking about dollies and all that. Remember, guys? Okay, so the grips are the ones who they mount and dismount that equipment. The others that I mentioned work directly with the camera, and they work under the guidance of the DP. The DP is like the manager, the administrator of how of the camera crew. And you can look at that picture. They're filming a guy on a bike. As you can see, it looks like he's pedaling. It's going to look like he's pedaling in the movie, but no, he's not pedaling. Well, he's not actually really pedaling. He's like floating up in the air because, as you can see, the bicycle is on a rig, and there you have all you see all those scaffolds, all that rig where the camera is supported and the actor. That was those mounts were um, constructed by the grips. That's their job. Okay, I would like to share a short video with you about what it's like to be a DP in film school. So you're going to have a film school student talking to you about what it's like to be the director of photography shooting a film project in a film school. So check it out, it's very cool. Okay, guys, what do you think of the video? Very informative, wasn't it? Okay, and I don't know if you noticed I think the most important thing that he shared with us here was that uh, the cinematography has to sell the story. The story will always be the most important aspect of of making a movie. Everything that is done in service of telling the story the best way possible. And noted that he said that he wanted to make everything look like pretty, but it really didn't help tell the story he was supposed to tell. So thank God that I was while I was seeing the video, I was wondering where the heck was the director, right? To tell the DP this is what I want, this is not what I want, right? Because that's not necessarily the way it's supposed to work, right? Everything is done in consultation with the director. But I want to remind you of a lesson I taught you a while ago, where I showed you two pictures, and these two pictures had different kind of lightings and different colors. I don't know if you remember that one was dark at night and it looked like a crime scene, and the other one was like in a countryside and a field and it was very warm and there was a couple like cozying up together. Do you remember that one? Okay, and one of the things that we well, yes, yeah, exactly. I think it had to do with exposure. And one of the things that we wanted for you guys to internalize was that lighting, how you light an image, the colors that you use will have an emotional impact on the viewer. It will make you feel certain things. That's why you have to be very careful the way that you illuminate something, because if you don't illuminate it the right way, you will not be able to tell the story correctly. You heard the guy saying that the story that he was telling was supposed to be like a melancholic, nice, sad story, like something like dramatic and inspirational, a little bit sad, but that when people saw it, they mentioned that it looked like a horror movie because of the way it was lit. It had nothing to do with the performances. The performances were okay, but it had everything to do with the lighting. So his understanding was that at the end of the day, that he succeed or fail. He failed. He failed. He failed. The good thing is that he learned. And when you fail and learn, well, that's a good thing. That's a good thing. So he learned. Next time, since he learned, he's not going to make the same mistake. Sometimes it's about what are the emotions that we want to transmit to tell the story. And that is what will make the story success, the movie successful. So, and lighting has to do a lot with it. So I'm sure that next time, if he had the opportunity to reshoot that again, he was going to use a different light scheme to shoot the film. So, guys, you have a little bit more information of what the daily going ons of the camera crew is in this presentation. It talks about what the daily uh, going ons of a DP and his camera crew, right? They have a lot of work. They're supposed to be there early. They get there before anyone to the set, to the studio, and they leave after everyone's gone, and they start setting up their rigs for the next day. It's a lot of hard work, but it's work that needs to be done. When you have the opportunity to shoot a movie, you will see that setting up the shot will be more time consuming than the shot itself. It takes sometimes hours to set up a shot, but it needs to be done. It's part of the workflow and it needs to be done. Here you have several uh, famous cinematographers from our time. This is Eduardo Serra. He's the guy that was the DP for the last two Harry Potter movies. This is Ellen Kuras. She was the DP for The Eternal Sunshine of a Spotless Mind. That's Wally Pfister. He is a very constant collaborator of Christopher Nolan in the Batman trilogy and Inception, and Janusz Kaminski, award-winning DP, who is another collaborator of, who is arguably the greatest director alive in the world today, Steven Spielberg. So you have to know your cameras. You have to be a good photographer. You need to know about art. You need to know about a lot of things to be a DP. Okay. If you want to be a DP, you need to familiarize yourself with cameras. You need to know cameras. You need to be a person that takes pictures because, as you know, practice makes perfection. If you're interested in a job like that and you don't have a camera, get one. I mean, Christmas is coming. Ask Santa for a camera, right? Some are pretty cheap. And go out there and start shooting. I have students that um, are not with me anymore, but they have photography as a hobby, believe it or not. And I had a student this semester sending me pictures all the time because now he became a fan of taking photographs of the night sky, of the sun, of the stars, of the moon. Very beautiful pictures, and he picked that up. So, guys, don't forget that we have a reshoot activity that we're supposed to send up today. I think there's like 12 questions about all the essential crew, and that must be uploaded to the LMS. Okay.